What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is AkeemHaynes. I'm a two-time Olympic bronze medalist, author, motivational speaker, and sports commentator. On my channel, we talk boxing, MMA, track and field, and of course, motivation and encouraging content. If this is something that you enjoy, then I hope that you subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get into the video. Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane. This is for the vacant UFC heavyweight title. UFC 285 could possibly be one of the biggest cards of the year. I mean, there's lots of great fights on this one, from the early prelims to the prelims. You got Valentina Shevchenko defending her title as well against Alexa Grasso. But we're not here to talk that. We're here to talk Jon Jones and Ciryl Gane. Let's get into it. Let's start with Johnny Bones. 26 wins, 1 loss, and that 1 loss was a DQ. So you can argue that Jon hasn't technically lost a fight on his feet. During this era, and to be clear, he's still in this era of fighters, but he's faced a lot of great caliber opponents, right? Like Ryan Bader, Shotgun Roa, Lito Machado, Quentin Rampage Jackson, Rashad Evans, Chael Sonnen, Victor Belfort, Glover Teixeira, Daniel Cormier, Anthony Smith, Thiago Santos, Dominic Reyes, and there were, of course, all in the light heavyweight division. He might be the greatest light heavyweight to ever step into the octagon. There is a debate that can be had about that. I personally think he is the greatest light heavyweight guy that we have seen in the octagon. He's had 8 title defenses and he's won them all. Tito Ortiz defended during his time 5 times. Frank Shamrock during his time defended his title 4 times. Chuck Liddell 4 times. Johnny Bones defended it 8 times and came out on top 8 times. There's no doubt he's great. However, this is a new division. He's packed on weight and he's been training hard. Absolutely. He's been getting ready for the heavyweight fight. Absolutely. He's been doing that for the past couple of years. We haven't seen him in the ring since February 8th, 2020. It's been 3 years since we've seen Jon Jones inside of the ring. He's 35 years old. And one thing is for sure, Father Time is undefeated. And many of you who are avid UFC fans, right? You're probably thinking the same thing that I'm thinking. We probably have more questions about Jon Jones right now in this stage of his career. Some of those questions for me personally is, what will he look like with the added weight, right? Will he be as quick, as fast, as fluid as he usually is? There was a video I saw of Jon Jones, you've probably seen as well too, a video of Jon Jones with a sparring partner, and he like threw his sparring partner with one hand. And I said, wow, the man is strong. That extra weight, man, it's really seemed like it's helping his strength. But it's sparring. Sparring is kind of in a controlled environment, working on things, working out the kinks, trying new things. But will he be able to do that against Ciryl Gane? Maybe, maybe not. I'm just saying I have questions. Now, we know that Jon Jones is a very versatile fighter. He's a good striker. He can wrestle. He's smart in the octagon, high IQ awareness inside the octagon. He's tactical in his approach. His defense is solid. He knows how to get himself out of danger. And he has that unpredictable factor. And what I mean by that is you never know what he's going to do at times. He might catch you with a spinning elbow. He might catch you with a flying, leaping knee. He can get you to the ground and wrestle. His takedown defense is very solid. He's a very balanced fighter. And we know that Ciryl Gane is a hybrid, right? He's a heavyweight that moves like some of those guys in the smaller division. He's an exceptional striker, very accurate, very sharp. Some might say he's never faced anyone like Ciryl Gane before, and that's true to some extent. I think Thiago Santos might be the closest version of Gane that he's faced, in my opinion. In Johnny Bones' fight, when he fought Thiago Santos, I mean, he looked very patient in that fight. He found the leg kicks were very effective and was working, so that's what he was using a lot that fight. Kicks to the body, kicks to the leg, kicks to the head, which was a strong factor in that fight. Santos fought very well, but Jones still came out on top. I think Gane is a stronger opponent than Santos, especially at this stage in their career. But going back to when we did see Jon Jones last, when he fought Dominic Reyes, Reyes probably fought the best fight that he has fought in his career. I mean, he looked very good. He looked sharp. Man, he was accurate when he was able to land clean shots. When he found openings, he took advantage. of that. You could tell he watched a lot of films because of how he was moving in the octagon and how everything was very strategic and tactical, and the decisions he was making even under constant pressure from Jones throughout the round. That was a fight that people thought Jones lost because he fought Jones hard every single round, countered well, landed some clean flush shots, and it did look like Jones was hurt in parts of that fight. Johnny Bones was bloody in that fight as well too, but at the end of the day, he got the job done and he won the fight. That was the last imprint that we have of Jones. That was the last visual imprint that we've seen of Johnny Bones. And if that was our last imprint, then we can only base it off that so far. And in that fight, he looked very vulnerable, very beatable. Can Gane get it done? Let's talk about Ciryl Gane. 11 wins, 1 loss, one of the most skilled heavyweights that I've seen personally, right? You're talking about a guy 6'5", 245, 250 pounds. In that range, he doesn't exactly fight as your typical big man would, right? Example, I look at Francis Ngannou and I'm like, yeah, there's no doubt that I want to stay in front of this guy. He's going to impose his will, impose his power, impose his frame, and it's going to be a short night for anyone that gets connected with a Francis Ngannou shot. But I look at Ciryl Gane and you watch him and you watch the tape and you watch him fight and you're like, wait a minute, he's a lot quicker than most of these heavyweights. He's an elite striker. His reflexes are a lot quicker than these heavyweights. And as I said earlier, he's a heavyweight that fights with skills like the guys in the lighter division. He's a hybrid, right? He's got wins over Junior Dos Santos, Arizona Rosenstrike, Alexander Volkov, Derek Lewis, Tai Tuivasa, and of course, he's been in the ring with the former heavyweight champion of the world, Francis Ngannou. So he's not only fought the best, he's also fought some of the best in that division when they were essentially in the height of their career. And what he's been able to do in his time in the UFC, right, is pretty remarkable. Because it's not an easy transition to come from Muay Thai and come over to the UFC or even boxing and have success. But Ciryl Gane has been able to do that. It shows the level of athlete that he is. Now, Ciryl Gane is a guy where if you let him get comfortable in the fight, he'll pick you apart. He'll jab you, he'll kick you, he'll work his way in tactically and frustrate you and break you down like he did against Rosenstrike and Volkov, right? He was a step ahead of those guys. You could tell that in that division, his speed was a problem. His speed was an asset of him that he used on his opponent. When he fought Francis Ngannou, he was doing very well in that fight until the thing that he didn't expect to happen happened. Francis Ngannou went to the ground and won some of those rounds simply because he controlled the majority and the pace of that fight by being on the ground. Now, the part where Gane really lost the fight was, I think it was in the last round where he had a leg lock on Francis Ngannou, or so it looked like, right? But for whatever reason, he decided to change his position and let Francis Ngannou get out of it. And Francis got on top and controlled the time for the rest of that fight to get the win. I remember Daniel Cormier saying as he was announcing that fight, he says, that makes no sense for Ciryl Gane. And I think we can all agree, but at the same time, it is what it is, right? You can't go back and change it. Jon Jones, I'm sure, has watched a lot of tape. I'm sure he saw some of that inexperience from Gane being in that position. Maybe he'll look to do some of that same thing. Now, Gane, after his loss, fought again that year against Tai Tuivasa, who had been on a tear in the UFC. 5 straight wins, all by knockout. He had a lot of momentum going in his corner. That wasn't an easy fight to just jump back into a top 5 heavyweight in the UFC after coming off a loss. Plus, you never know how someone is going to be when they suffer their first loss. So, we had a little bit of question for Ciryl Gane as well. That round starts, Gane comes out, wins the first round, looks like he's the Ciryl Gane that we're accustomed to. Fought on the outside, kicks, jabs, moving with fluidity around the octagon, switching stances. He looked very comfortable. But the second round comes and Ciryl Gane gets caught with a right hand that dropped him. And I'm thinking to myself, man, what is about to happen? What are we going to see? Is the hype of Ciryl Gane about to be over? Is Tai Tuivasa about to close out the show? Like, what is going to happen in these next couple seconds? But Ciryl Gane kept his composure, fought back and started hitting to the body heavily and closed out the round very strong and closed out the round. And Tai Tuivasa was a little hurt, starting to breathe a little bit harder. Those body shots seemed like it was starting to add up. You could see that Tuivasa was hurt from the body shots in the previous rounds, and it looked like he was getting a little bit more tired as the fight was going on. And then he gets clipped with the right hand to stumble him, and Ciryl Gane closed out the show. So that was a big comeback performance for him against a tough opponent that has power, that has heart, that is tough, and had a lot of momentum going in his way. And also in that fight, Ciryl Gane had to overcome adversity because he almost got stopped by that knockdown, but he found his way back and he fought his way back and he got the job done. So who wins? Honestly, I don't know how this one is going to go, right? These are two different fighters, but they do similar things in different versions. Two different styles, but their IQ in the octagon is very high. We always want knockouts and submissions and things of that nature, but I don't know if I'm expecting a knockout or a submission. I'm expecting a high-level chess match, one that I think goes to the cards. Ciryl is in great fighting shape. He's obviously been the more active fighter in the recent years. Even though Jon Jones hasn't fought in the recent years, I haven't looked at the favorites yet, but I would not be surprised if Jon Jones is the favorite. Again, I haven't seen the odds, but good chance Jon Jones is the favorite. And honestly, when you are looking at a person's resume, you look at Jon Jones's resume, you look at Ciryl Gane's resume, even though Ciryl Gane's resume is pretty good for a short time in the UFC so far, Jon Jones has a resume that is nearly unblemished. And it's hard not to think that all of the experience that he has will not translate over to this new division. However, it is a new division, and he's much heavier than he's ever been, and he's been inactive. But at the same time, something keeps bringing me back to Jon Jones. As much as I like Ciryl Gane and wouldn't be surprised if he did win the fight, I'm taking Johnny Bones to win this one by decision. What are your thoughts on this fight? Who do you have winning this one? Let me know in the comments section below. If you would like to support the channel, there's a couple ways that you can do so. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you would like to support by way of donation, you can find options in the description below. Also, my Cash App handle will be on screen as well. Any amount goes towards the growth of this channel. It will be greatly, greatly appreciated. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this on, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next time.